any hotel quarantine program poses a risk. The only way to eliminate that risk is to never have anybody come here, whether they be for a major event for a short time, or someone who's a returning Australian, or someone who's providing specialist support to an industry, or at some point in the future, hopefully, someone who's coming here to study. No one's ever said this is zero risk. In fact, I've been, I think, pretty clear that it wasn't about if, it was a matter of when, and that's why you have to have these robust processes in place so that you can be, right on the heels of the virus, or indeed in front of it. I can say here now, no other staff member across the program has tested positive, and I can say that because we test them every day. Now, we're always looking to do more and do better, and I dare say that tomorrow at National Cabinet there'll be a high degree of interest both from First Ministers as well as at AHPBC. Other Chief Health Officers will be very interested to hear from Brett and from Alan and others as we do that more detailed detective work and narrow it down. And there may be some open questions for not just the hotel quarantine program here in Victoria, but indeed the program that's run across the nation. What do you? I think that's an open question. I think that is an open question. I think that and the reason I say that is that we paused elements of the program 2 or 3 weeks ago when we got that first UK strain case. We halved the number of people that were coming back. We made all sorts of other changes. In effect, the rest of the country adopted the model that we've put in place. Now, given how infectious this is, we're even wanting to go further with our model, and I won't rule out going further again in a month or 3 months. But all of this has to be evaluated in real time, and I think one of the strengths of National Cabinet is we've been prepared to be evidence-based, to look at what's happening, to learn from the experience of others. And look, I don't think anyone can argue with the prospect or with the notion that this virus presents today a more complex and difficult challenge than it did a month ago or 6 months ago, because we've got these hyper-infectious strains. That's just a fact.
What does going further actually mean?
Melbourne for Sydney, Brisbane. It's
Yep.
time to move hotel quarantine away from built-up urban
Yeah, I've seen. I think you. Yeah, sure. I think these questions have been asked in different ways, and I think I've made some commentary in the past that, look, I'm always happy to sit down with the Prime Minister and see whether there are some bespoke facilities that can be built. That might give you some greater capacity, and that might be useful not just for this pandemic, but for events that could occur in the future. Bushfires, all sorts of different reasons. Emergency housing that's fit for purpose and built for that purpose and can be opened and can get bigger and smaller as the needs call for. That wouldn't be a bad thing for us to have a network of that all the way across the country. We don't have that now, but we're happy to talk to the Commonwealth Government about that. Just on the issue of risk, though, look, any facility will have to be staffed. Staff have lives; they have family. Like, you can go and put it 50 k's from where we're standing now, or 500 k's from where we're standing now, but there'll be people there too, and the virus spreads. So I think geographic location alone is not necessarily the biggest issue here. But we are always prepared to listen to the experts, and if there's things that can be done and decisions that can be made at a national level that would get the risk lower, never to zero, but lower than it otherwise would be, we've always got an open mind to that.
Can you clarify why?
Sorry, we could do 5 at once, but that. Yes. Yes. Oh no, we're not getting ahead of ourselves here. We've taken an approach that is all about an abundance of caution, because you only get one chance to move early and move fast. That's what we've done. We think the response has been proportionate. Our energies are focused very much on encouraging people to test, detailed contact tracing, all that detective work. That's proceeding well. And I know it'll be inconvenient for people to be waiting to be tested this morning, but I was very, very pleased when I got that report this morning that many, many people, thousands of people, have come forward to get tested. That's the most important thing to do, and that's where our energies are focused.
Similar.
Let's just finish Janelle's question and then we'll come across here. Yes. Sure. More than happy to try and provide that for you, yes.
Given with the numbers of infections that we've previously seen in outbreaks in other states and here, and borders have been closed or restricted in some way,
Yep.
have you been on the phone to the rest of the state premiers in order to try and keep borders open at this stage?
No, I've been focused on making sure that we're doing everything we can to get control of this outbreak, and that's, it's one case at the moment. There are many close contacts, there are many exposure sites, there are many people who need to get tested and will need to isolate, and the good news is that's certainly what's occurring now, and we'll keep people updated. And again, look, I think that when it comes to issues of borders, every single First Minister and their Chief Health Officer, they make decisions based on evidence. They make decisions that they're not flippantly made, they're made after, lots of thought, and I don't think this will be any different.
Given that we've seen this multiple times now, do you think that we should move to a national traffic light system?
Well, we essentially have a national traffic light system. That was the decision that was made. For instance, the decision in Brisbane, that was in those 5 local government areas that were shut for 3 days, and all the knock-on effects in terms of freedom of movement and travel, that was a National Cabinet decision. It was announced by the Prime Minister. It came after detailed consideration by National Cabinet. So we have numerous national processes, but I don't think any First Minister would ever concede to a national process taking the advice about conditions in their local community, whether it be across their state or in a very small part of their state. One of the strengths of National Cabinet, and there are many, has been that we've had national policy, national decisions, but there's been a freedom and indeed an obligation for states and territories to apply those rules, to seek that outcome, to deliver that strategy based on conditions in their state. And all the way through this, things have been very different in different parts of the country, and indeed they've been very different in different parts of individual states. So that it's not about autonomy; it's just about effectiveness. And I think having that localised approach has and will continue to serve us well.